Greetings and welcome to Causeless Joy Tarot. I am Glory, the Golden Light Goddess, and I am here today to do a general reading for the sign of Pisces. And today we will be using the Morgan Greer tarot deck, as well as pulling a guidance card from the Chakra Insight Oracle deck by Karen Sangster. Today we are doing a 5-card reading with a bonus card from your general readings in January. And this month, for the month of May, we kept the readings really short and sweet for this lovely spring month. And this month, Pisces, you are coming in with the Three of Wands reversed. Now, the Three of Wands upright is all about looking to move on, going out, heading somewhere. When we see this Three of Wands coming up in the reverse, it signifies returning home, unhappy with your choices, perhaps being unhappy with the past choices that you've made or the outcomes of those choices. It's really about holding on to the past and not, let me get the lighting right here. There we go. All right, so not being able to let go is what this card signifies. Or again, being unhappy with previous choices or outcomes. All right, so we'll go ahead now and take a look at the rest of your cards for the month of May and see how they line up here with your overall energy card of the Three of Wands coming up in the reverse. All right. Look at that. The Magician jumped right out for you there, Pisces. We'll see if the Magician comes back out during the course of your reading. Calling on my guides, angels, helpers, teachers, all that loves and surrounds the sign of Pisces. Asking for clarity, wisdom, and vision as we look into the energies available to the sign of Pisces in the month of May 2018. Giving thanks in advance for clarity, wisdom, and vision as we look at the energies for Pisces for May 2018. Asking for 5 cards that represent the energies that are available for the sign of Pisces in the month of May 2018. Giving thanks in advance for perfect clarity, wisdom, and vision. All right, Pisces. Also, if you know your rising or moon sign, I encourage you to take a look at those cards as well, at those readings as well, to get additional clarity. All right, Pisces, let's go ahead and give the cards a cut here, and we'll see what comes out for Pisces. The 5 cards that we'll be using today and looking at today are they're listed on the front cover of the reading for the month of May. This first card represents your internal power. The second card represents your abundance. The third card represents romance. And then the fourth card is your challenge in the month of May. And finally, we have your outcome card. So let's start here with your internal power. You do have the 5 of Cups coming up in the reverse as your internal power card here. And the 5 upright is really about crying over spilled milk, really in line with the first card that came out for you there with the Three of Wands coming up in the reverse. When we see this 5 of Cups coming up in the reverse, though, it is about moving on, and it's about forgiveness. and hope returning. All right, so this is the recovery card, and this is your internal power. So, what this says to me right away is that Pisces has the ability and the energy available to you in the month of May that will help you to forgive whatever was here that you were, whatever this Three of Wands represents for you in the reverse. As I talked about, it's about being unhappy with your choices or the way things have turned out. Whatever this card represents for you, this Three of Wands in the reverse, you do now have the internal power to let go and to move on. And that's a wonderful thing to see for the sign of Pisces. This is about forgiveness. It's about recovery, as I mentioned, and it's also about renewed hope. So this is your internal power. So whatever you were holding on to there with that Three of Wands, you now have the wherewithal to let that go. All right, so moving on to your next card here. This card represents abundance. And take a look at this, Pisces. You have the Chariot card coming up in the abundance sector for you in the month of May. This is an awesome card to see in your abundance sector. This is about taking action. It's about changing. It's also about looking at both sides of the story, weighing all of your options. As you can see here on this card, we have the white and the black horse here representing choices or representing options for you. And really, you're at the helm, managing your options, taking the actions that you need to take in order to get you where you're headed. So again, this is a lovely, lovely major arcana to see coming up in the abundance sector. And of course, we know that abundance doesn't just mean coins, although coins are lovely and they of course are welcomed, but it doesn't. Abundance also means an abundance of joy, an abundance of friends, an abundance of opportunity even. So here is what I'm picking up. What I am picking up here for Pisces is that you will see the evidence of things that either you've hoped for, or perhaps, as I mentioned, some of these choices here that you're regretting, or maybe holding on to what has happened in the past. You're finally coming into a time, Pisces, where you can really let that go and allow the abundance to begin to flow effortlessly towards you, is what Spirit wants you to know there. So let's move on now to your next card. And the next card, as I mentioned, represents romance. And in the romance sector here, you do have the Three of Wands coming in the upright. Interestingly enough, we had the Three of Wands as your overriding energy, really sensing an air of regret about past decisions. But it's lovely to see that inside of your reading for the month of May, you turn this three around, and it's coming up in the romance area here. And so this Three of Wands in the romance is about teamwork and expansion. So to see this means that because we are talking romantic relationships here and not casual relationships, there's a synergy going on in your romantic area, a synergy that is working for you as well as your partner. There is teamwork, and there are efforts underway to expand what it is you're looking to expand your family, looking to expand your income, looking to expand your business. There's expansion underway with this Three of Wands, and the person that you're on this journey with is working wonderfully with you to bring those changes about. So that's what I'm picking up here in the romance sector for Pisces in the month of May. Now, your challenge for the month of May is the Queen of Cups coming up in the reverse here. When we see the Queen of Cups in the upright, she's all about nurturing and helping, being a real domestic master, very compassionate towards the needs of others. But when we see this in the reverse, this really talks about insecurity, not being secure in who you are or what you think you're capable of doing in your qualifications. It also could speak to some form of addiction. So this card again represents a challenge for Pisces that it would behoove you to be very mindful of this type of challenge that you may be faced with in the month of May. Again, it's about wherever you're feeling, or if ever you're feeling insecure in the month of May, if you can remember, right? Because in the heat of the moment, things aren't always, our adrenaline starts pumping, and chemicals get released in the brain that sometimes cause us to really forget what's really important, or where we need to really be focused. But here, if you can remember that if there is ever a feeling of insecurity, or a feeling of like you're smothered, or you can't make strong, clear decisions, take a pause break there, regroup if you can. Deep breathing is a beautiful way to bring yourself back to a calm place where you can make better decisions. But this insecurity that I'm picking up in this card is really unwarranted for the sign of Pisces. Again, here in the abundance sector, you have the victory card coming out. There's whatever it is that you're poised to pursue in the month of May, you have the energy and the stamina and character to get it done. So letting go of these insecurities here will really, really, really make your life a lot easier. Trust me. Or at least if you can recognize them when you see them, you're one step ahead of the game. All right, so your final outcome card, take a look here, Pisces. You're coming out with the Four of Wands in the upright. What this card represents, quite frankly, is a strong, solid foundation. So as an outcome card for you in the month of May, you are working towards letting go, healing, and recovering from some of the past failures or outcomes. Failures is the wrong word, because anything that you've experienced that didn't give you the outcome that you had hoped, there was growth, there was opportunity for growth, there was opportunity to learn there. So it's not at all a failure. Anywhere where you're holding on to those past outcomes, now's the time to forgive. Now's the time to move on. Now's the time to let go, because you are in a position to take action and be victorious. You are in a position to have someone on your side, a partner, a mate, a lover, a friend. But this does feel romantic here. This feels like someone you're very much involved with. You have this team player working with you to get things done. You do have to be mindful, though, of the insecurities that that may come up for you during the process of all of this growth. But in the end, you come out with a very solid foundation. You come out with a new attitude, a new way of being in terms of acknowledging who you really are. So this is just a wonderful spread here for the sign of Pisces, and things really look good for you in the month of May. So let's go ahead now and take a look at your final guidance card, which, as I mentioned, this is Karen Sangster's deck, and it's called the Chakra Insight Oracle. I really like the illustrations on these cards, so let's see what's in store for the sign of Pisces. Asking for one additional guidance card for the sign of Pisces to close out their reading for the month of May. And there we have it, Pisces. Let's go ahead and take a look at what came out for you. You have the grounding card. All right. A lot of red energy is the very first thing that I picked up in this card. This card, for me, feels like action. When I see red, I think of wands, fire, that type of energy. You could have a fire sign around you, but the very first thing that jumped out to me about this card is this red energy, this action-oriented energy. Here in this card, you are being reminded to ground yourself. And if you're not familiar with grounding, there's lots of exercises out on the web, on YouTube, all over the place. Grounding exercises where you actually ground, imagine that you have a grounding cord and you ground yourself to Mother Earth. And what this is really bringing me back to here is your final outcome card, where we talked about a very solid foundation. This grounding will help you to cement this really solid foundation if you're able to ground yourself. And take a look at the words that are on this card as well. You have presence, nature, practicality, and stability. All of those are characteristics of being grounded, and those are wonderful characteristics that will also assist you with letting go of any insecurities that you may have about what exactly you're capable of doing. All right, so the message from Spirit here is to remain grounded throughout the month of May as often as you can, to help alleviate some of these insecurities that you may be feeling. And not only that, but to help you to be very, very considerate and conscious. That's the word I'm looking for. Thank you, Spirit. To be very conscious here of the victory that you will begin to see evidence of in the month of May. This grounding will definitely help you to be that, to be very conscious and very present for your victory. All right. So that does conclude the reading for the sign of Pisces for the month of May 2018. I thank you for joining me this month, and I look forward to seeing you back here in the month of June. Namaste.